Train by day, Kyle Wigginton podcast by night, all day.
Morgan. Morgan Stites.
Morgan Marshall Stites.
Morgan Marshall Stites.
Morgan Marshall Stites. Yeah, I've been going by Morgan Marshall officially as my new stage name.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's dope, dude.
Yeah,
like, why the change? Just,
I think it sounds a little better, you know?
well, there's a lot of people changing their names right now. And I know you might not have realized it, but I had several people that are like, oh, I'm going by this now. And like, I'm cool with that. Like there's one girl that I know, really good friend of mine. I guess I can say her name. She was going by Nandi, and here recently she changed her name to Espy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, but like
I could see that.
They're dope names.
Yeah. I'm proud of Morgan. I'm proud of Marshall, you know? It's not that I'm not proud of my last name. It's just that I feel more, you know, attached to Morgan Marshall. I like that.
M&Ms. I like it. you're multiple M&Ms.
Yeah.
So Morgan, the musician, how would you classify what you do? It's art, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so.
No, so I had I guess everyone had told me for a long time that this guy plays music. So I was like, okay, well I'm ready to like hear him play music. I was like, come to the open mic, play a little bit. And he never would. And I was like, why would this fucking guy come to open mic and play? Finally, one night I'm in here and he gets on stage with Colin, who was hosting open mic the night. And they put this like little collaboration together. And I was like, holy shit. And luckily I was here to capture that on camera that night.
Yeah, that's a good song, man. I'm going to be recording that sometime soon. A song called All at Once.
Dude, that's when I fell in love with you. Yeah, I was like, this guy's the real deal, man.
Yeah, man. Music does that, you know. It's full of emotion and people feel it, pick it up, put it down.
So you haven't recorded that song yet?
I haven't. Still have a full album that Tattered Rabbit has recorded. That's
that's your band, yeah.
Yeah, my band, Tattered Rabbit. That I do most of the writing for, most like, you know, almost all the lyrical work. I sometimes get help from the boys. But yeah, I do most of the writing, and we have had this album recorded, our first album, and just kind of put it aside for now because we're all kind of working on different things, but just got to do a little bit of mixing, send it off to get mastered, and it's really unique stuff, you know. It's unlike anything that I hear, you know.
I would agree with that. Like I've heard that song, and I've heard a couple of your other songs too. And I think you have a really cool sound, really unique sound.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very progressive. It's not for everyone, you know. It's like kind of like a little bit avant-garde at times, and I think that is like definitely, you know, only a certain person's cup of tea. But
it's definitely for this city. Like what you guys played for Mardi Gras last year, right? Or was that a different band?
Oh God, man! Last year Mardi Gras. I think we played right around Mardi Gras. Like, yeah, those were some of our last shows before we took a little hiatus.
Yeah,
just out of necessity.
I mean, you got it. You can't just like produce all the time, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, gosh,
you can pull that closer if you need to.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, you know, you do it all the time. It's what you love to do, and sometimes when it's just not going right for long enough, you kind of just get burnt out on it. And that's what kind of happened. Just being honest, I just started feeling like it's not like it wasn't moving in a good direction. It just wasn't moving in the direction that I wanted it to. And that basically just was falling on me, just, you know, in my shortcomings as like a human being. You know, I was burnt out in a lot of ways, you know, burnt out at work, burnt out in friendships. I was, you know, repairing relationships with people that I had falling out with, and realized that some of them I didn't even want to repair them. And then so basically, you know, April last year, 2022, we played our last show at Saturn Bar, and it was like a great show, you know. And we decided after that, we're like, you know, gotta kind of like take a break. I was like, personally, like I can't be doing like 3 rehearsals a week anymore. Sometimes with like other bands that I was in, I was doing like 5 a week. I got a girlfriend. I got to, you know, work. It's really hard to balance all that stuff sometimes. And if it's not really fulfilling you, it's like, what's the point, you know? If it's not really producing the product, so to speak, like that you feel is true, then it's like maybe time to take a step back and recalibrate, you know, kind of work from the ground up. And so, you know, started therapy for the first time.
How's that going?
6 months ago. It's been amazing. Yeah, I mean,
Like, what do you do in there?
so I'm fortunate enough to be a musician in this city, and luckily there's a musicians clinic. And through musicians clinic, I have free therapy,
That's dope.
and it would be $150 a session for this particular therapist who specializes in helping artists and musicians who are in my exact position at that time, where I was just struggling to.
I didn't realize the city had that.
Yeah, it's an incredible thing. I mean, a bunch of my friends, we all have the same doctor. She's such a sweet lady. She like really cares about everyone, has a personal relationship. She like wants to help you out. And then, yeah, there's all these different people who work in conjunction with them. And I lucked out, and I was turned down by like 5 or 6 therapists after already having I set up an interview or whatever with them and just like to feel it out. And all of them, before it even happened, canceled on me. Because they're all so busy. Everyone needs therapy. Everyone needs therapy right now. And so, I mean, it's so hard to get in. And so for months and months and months, I think almost a year, I was looking for a therapist. And because I was doing it through this, this company, this foundation, where I wasn't dishing out the money myself, it was a lot harder because I was kind of having to wait around. But luckily for me, I found the right one. She's been really good to me.
No, that's really good. Because I think in a lot of those professions now, you have people that are just doing it for the money. Like they don't do it because they actually want to help anyone. Like there's so many people go into the medical industry. Yeah, they go into the medical industry just to get paid.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who I hear talk about therapy, and they're like, I don't need it. Like I went to therapy once, and like they're just they're just asking me these questions, and they obviously don't care. They're just reading off a script, and I could relate to that. That's an uncomfortable position to be in any relationship where you feel like someone's not being genuine,
right?
But this person I'm in therapy with genuinely cares about humanity,
I love that, dude. I'd actually like to get her on the podcast.
Dude, she'd be great on the podcast. She's so her style of therapy, she studies psychodrama, which is something that was developed by this guy. I forget his first name, but his last name is Moreno, Moreno. And he's the one accredited to starting group therapy sessions where he would, bring a group of people all together in a room. Everyone's got issues. Everyone would start talking one by one. And so, say I have this problem with my boss at my job and it's pissing me off and I don't know how to deal with it because he's triggering me and I'm holding it in maybe. And maybe I'm like emotionally compartmentalizing this thing that's triggering me and I'm not sure how to deal with it. I'm not sure how to open dialogue in order to like either deal with it with this person directly or internally with myself. And so what psychodrama in these group therapy sessions they do is something called it's not doubling. I think it's called seconding. It might be doubling. But after you kind of have opened up and been honest about how you feel, like you kind of talk as if the person's in the room, expressing to them how you feel about them, kind of practicing it first.
So role playing kind of?
Yeah, role playing, and then someone will come behind you and if they have something to add on to your dialogue that might be a different perspective you may have not taken into consideration, that you can then choose to either use as your own understanding and dialogue, and then you repeat what they said, and it's kind of like helping push along your thought process, and either that or if you don't agree with what they said, then you change it a little bit and go on with it. So it's really helpful because, we're all, completely unique individuals with our own, backgrounds and upbringings and traumas and childhood, generational traumas. And we all react differently to all these different situations. And sometimes, we think we might be doing the best thing and realize that we could be doing just something a little bit different and a little bit better just through someone else's perspective. And
right.
It's really, just genuine.
So is that kind of like, is that what you guys do too in therapy sessions?
So because we don't have a group therapy, what we do is she has like 2 chairs and I'm sitting in one, the other one's empty. She's sitting in her own. So there's really 3 chairs. And I might have an issue with my dad. And she's like, all right, your dad is in that chair right there. Go ahead and tell him how you feel and don't hold back. If you cry, cry. If you scream, scream. Like if you swear, just let it out. Just be honest, be genuine. It's like all what it's about. Cause it's what you put into it. You know, if you're just there and you're like, not really like, you know, opening up, then you're not going to get that much out of it. I mean, it's going to be kind of superfluous. Like the conclusion's not going to be great. But anyway, so you open up to this person that you haven't had this actual conversation with. It's like a practice. It's a kind of a dress rehearsal. And then you switch roles, and then you sit in the chair, and then I would be my dad, and I would be talking, responding back to me, knowing what I know about him. My relationship with him is something that's completely unique and independent to my own understanding in my brain. And so I know how he as a person kind of operates though, and how he feels and what he's been through and why we have the relationship we have. So it's a way to like really hear yourself have a conversation with that person, and then also reflect on what as like now, all right, you know, I switched chairs. I'm my dad. I'm then listening to like what Morgan just said to me. And then I'm reflecting on that, how that feels to me as if I was my dad, and then responding to that. And so what's great about it is two things. It's can serve as a dress rehearsal, like I said, you know, to get you ready to have a conversation that might be difficult to have or you've been putting off. Or also, which I've found through just the last couple sessions, is it creates this almost like conclusive closure, just within your own internal work, you know, where you don't actually, I feel like I don't even actually have to go ahead and have these conversations that I thought originally I was like leading up towards. You know, I was building up the dialogue, what I was going to actually say to this person, and, you know, getting my emotions out and making it more structured, and, you know, making the information I was going to be, you know, saying to them more poignant. And really, I found out that just by having that conversation there, I was able to release so much of the tension that I was holding on to. And it was freeing. It was very freeing for me. And I did the same thing with my brother. I've done the same thing with a couple people, you know, just like, and it's not always a bad thing. Like sometimes like, I'm like, you know, my abuelo, my grandpa on my mom's side, he's this amazing man. And it's like hard to live up to his expectations, because I mean, he grew up in a time, I mean, he's 92. So he grew up in a time so different than now. Very different world. He's a Mexican man of color. He adopted my mom, and he had it rough, you know, and he grew up in New Mexico in a small little town and was holding a whole farm together while his mom, you know, a single mother, his father actually passed while his mother was pregnant with him. So she raised him by herself, and she became a teacher at a very young age, and she would have to go horse and buggy, you know, like 4 or 5 hours away to go teach for the week. She would leave Monday morning, come back Friday night. And
that's so crazy to us.
He was like 9 years old, and he was taking care of 100 fucking acres of farm by himself.
Yeah, I can't even imagine that.
I mean, like, you know, probably like 11 acres of it was actually like farmland, but like there was there's so much like land there, and there was,
well, the amount of responsibility that
100 chickens, you know, 11 hogs, like just like, and you know, back then,
even like the horse and buggy, like that's so crazy. Like we both came across town today in vehicles. Okay.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to horse and buggy, that's so unfathomable. You have to leave your house like, you know, 3 hours early. Just, I mean,
you go down to the French Quarter, you see what it looks like. It's like,
yeah.
It's slow, man. Like it is, it takes some time.
So when you were going through, you know, the session with him.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I was just going to say, it was a positive experience. You know, like, it wasn't like it was for me. It was like, I was the one kind of in the hard seat. Like I didn't have anything bad to say about him. I was just like, look, like I have like not lived up to my potential, and you have set, you know, the groundwork for inspiring millions of people. I mean, he has a 400-page autobiography.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he is a well-accomplished man. Like,
the real deal.
Traveled the world, was in the military young, and just worked his tail off, and has helped a lot of people. Him and his mother they've both been in foreign aid for, you know, education and other just like general community community uplifting programs in rural areas in Central America and South America.
Yeah.
For the past 60, 70 years.
So is that where he still lives, or does he live in the States?
No, he lives in New Mexico. He lives in Santa Fe. Yeah, he is very retired, has been for a long time, but he is never going to be retired because he's a hard worker, and that's why he's still alive, man. Bicycle theory, like he's never gotten off the bike. He's still pedaling, and that's why he's still sharp as a tack. I mean, he's a little frail 92-year-old man, but he is 30 years old in his mind. He is sharp as a tack.
I love that, dude. That's kind of my mentality with it all too, is like, just keep going. Like, you're going to die eventually. So why not just run it into the fucking ground? If you're doing something you love, just go. Yeah. I think that's the problem. Most people don't love life. Most people are doing shit they hate because they never took any risks. I think you got to take risks. We're not
taught to take risks. We're taught to conform. And that's the sad truth.
Okay, you say this, but like, you were raised by this man, this great man. Okay.
Well, I wasn't raised by him, but he was an incredible inspiration.
So he could have taught you to take risks, right?
He certainly was someone who, from a young age, I understood, first of all, I understood what privilege was quite young, because he was like, you're white, you're a man, you're the most privileged person in the world. Like, I'm a man too, and I have privileges that other people don't, but I grew up in color, and like learning his, struggles and how he overcame them and how he never let them impede him from rising to his highest potential is the most inspirational part. He never received these racist things, or other people, when he was working more in politics, Nixon and all of his people were trying to take this dude down because he was a Latino man in Washington, D.C., who was powerful. And he was the largest contractor for just businesses that need office space. He was like the one who found them office space and just like really did that for enough people to have a bag of keys, the size of a freaking cantaloupe.
Yeah.
And like he had like at one point he had keys to like a 16th of the buildings in Washington, D.C. I mean, he was really, really up there and respected. He was the first Latino to ever be inducted as a member of the Smithsonian, like first Latino member of the board in the Smithsonian, DC. I mean, there's like all these things that he's been like the first Latino, and a lot of people didn't like that. A lot of people tried to push him down, and he always rose above that and took it, and like,
what a crazy world we live in, where when someone's just trying to help people, they become enemy number one.
Oh yeah. I mean, because then the power is getting all of a sudden distributed, and you don't want that.
Right.
You don't want the people to have the power.
The average person. Yeah. You don't want that. No, you got to have this. I hate the fucking word elites. Yeah. Like, that word drives me nuts. 'Cause I'm like, put me in a room with one of these elites. We'll see who walks out. Let's see how elite they really are. Like, that's kind of how I feel about all this shit. Like, you're only elite whenever you're behind a glass wall and you have a police force that's telling people what to do. You're not elite when it comes to one-on-one.
No, man. I heard some statistic in some, internet video the other day, and this journalist was talking about how insane, she was trying to put into, perspective how insane the wealth inequality is in this country. And major CEOs in this country make, in like 6 or 7 hours, around 50 grand. And that's more than that's like around the average annual income of people in this country.
I would even say that's probably above average these days.
I mean, for a lot of people.
Yeah. One of the biggest things for me when I realized that politicians and people are so out of touch with reality is when they started giving the stimulus checks out, because they were giving out the amount of money that people make in 2 weeks for 1 week. That they don't even have a clue what it's like to live a normal life. It's so insane. And people were like, fuck yeah, we'll take all this money. I don't blame them. I would too.
Yeah. But then you look at like the amount of time that everything was all messed up, and then $1,200 for that allotment of time. That's like, I mean, I was okay, but I couldn't imagine being, like a single mother, a single parent having kids.
Oh, did it wipe my savings out? Because like they shut down the business here, and I had money saved up, but wasn't getting any like unemployment because this city right here is like the worst with unemployment.
They are.
So I was like, well, it looks like I'm just going to spend my own money. So I spent my own money for like months, and then finally a stimulus check came, and I only got one of those. It's like crazy, dude. But the fact that they were giving out so much money, it just shows how out of touch with reality they really are. And I think that when you start looking at that situation, it's like, dude, these motherfuckers, they literally control the market. I saw a guy a while back. He did an experiment with this. He took like a video game and he said, okay, since I control like the economy. So he was changing laws in the economy, and he's like, okay, whenever I do this, now I'm going to invest all my money in this sector, and I'm going to drive like the economy this way right before I invest. That way I get all that money back on the return. And I was like, it's exactly what these fucking idiots are doing in Congress. Like they're literally all just like driving the market, and they're investing right before they pass a new law or bill.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nightmare of a situation we're in, but I think there are solutions. I just think we're not the people that can solve the problems aren't in the right positions.
That's the truth, man.
Yeah. Like they're the creatives. Like the creatives can solve the problem, but now the creatives are like, working restaurant jobs or, doing shit like that. They're working service industry jobs when they should be, being in think tanks, thinking outside the box.
Other countries, other first world countries anyway, pay their musicians. Just the government, there's like a stipend that individual will get just for being someone who entertains the people of that society, of that community, because that's lifting like the general happiness of everyone up. It's making everyone feel better about life just by having people put out this music, and they support that. And that just is not existent in this country at all.
No.
I mean, you can go and find grants, you can go apply all you want. And, some people get lucky, and there's like all these different programs where if you leave the country, you can like, travel for free and go show other countries what American rock and roll or American jazz or blues, whatever you're playing. I mean, there's things out there, but you really have to reach, and they don't make it easy. They don't want to help you. You got to figure that out for yourself, or just,
it's just
be stuck in it forever.
Well, dude, just like the therapy thing you were talking about, like I've never heard of this in my life. And I've been in New Orleans for 10 years now, working in the arts. And like, you would think that would be something that everyone down here knows about. And just like those programs, you're talking about the overseas programs or the programs that they'll give you money to create your art. Like those things should be like up front, that if you actually want to go through the rigors of becoming an artist and actually apply yourself, then you should be able to get that stuff like really easy.
There's a wait list for the New Orleans Musicians Clinic, by the way, anyone who's watching this. If you're interested, if you're a musician who is actively playing in town, providing entertainment for the people of New Orleans, and you can prove that, that's all you really need to do. And there's a, probably now like a 1 to 3 month waiting list. I don't know how busy they are. I'm sure they're very busy. It could be up to 6 months. They told me 3 months. I got in a month. But I was able to show that I had all these shows booked and I had been playing. And that's really all I had to do. And they're like, yeah, come on in. And I got Medicaid, and
they helped you like get shit together.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
So yeah, anyone who's looking out for that, man, definitely. What's that? Is there like a website or something to go to?
I'm sure. I'm gonna have to look it up now, but I'm pretty sure New Orleans. If you just look up New Orleans Musicians Clinic, it's probably like NewOrleansMusiciansClinic.org.
You can Google that or ask ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of ChatGPT and switching the subject a little bit, have you messed with the AI stuff yet at all?
I have not, but I have been totally observing other people mess with it.
It's so insane, man.
It's insane. It's scary.
Especially like when you're thinking about a musician. Have you seen any of the stuff they're doing with the music?
Oh yeah, well, like what, writing like incredible songs with whatever inspirations and like tone, like, vocal tone that you want, or
well, I saw one the other day. They were like, hey, write a song in Kanye West style,
right?
And then they took the lyrics that ChatGPT wrote, the poem or rap song, whatever you want to call it, and they took a beat and they went to another AI program and had it make a beat for that song, and then they took that and they put it in some kind of cadence machine and put it Kanye's voice. And I was like, so basically now you have a Kanye West song that it was all generated by a computer.
In seconds.
In seconds, yeah. It's crazy.
In seconds. And
then you use Dolly to make your album cover. Nah, it's nuts, dude. Like I've been playing around with it just because I don't want to get left behind, because I know this is like the next step.
Oh yeah. I mean, there is money to be made on that in some way. And if it's, ethical is the big question, but like think about all the things that have ever arisen in humanity. Like, is this ethical? Like, oh, this is the new thing. Like I got to either monetize off it or like, have morals.
There's tons of people already monetizing that stuff.
Oh yeah. They're the ones usually with like, less morals. But at the end of the day, they're the ones bringing in money doing this stuff. And, I used to be someone who was definitely more on the lines where like, I would rather like struggle. I'd rather suffer and just be genuine. Like I'm going to do it my way. And now I'm like, I'll sell out. I would,
Well, you got to survive,
Yeah. And like, you get to a certain point in your, in your life where I'm 30 years old and I'm like, I'm still doing this music thing. Like I really want to do it for the rest of my life, but I don't want to be playing in bars to make money. I want to be traveling and making money on the road and, having a bunch of merchandise and more importantly, inspiring the next generations with music, of my own, from my own personal project, the bands that I'm in. And one of my big career dreams that I'm aspiring towards is film scoring and doing scores for video games as well. Cause that's what originally got me into music. It's like Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Great game.
The music in that game just did something in my brain. And I was like, I need an ocarina. And
get you one?
Yeah, I got a little ocarina. It wasn't a Zelda one. Some people get the Zelda one. I got one at like a little flea market somewhere from some native person. And so it was made of clay. They made it and I had it for years.
Whenever you played it, did a bird come and pick you up?
No, it would rain.
Yeah, it would rain. Was that the bird one or was that it?
There was the rain song and then there's the
which one did the bird come and pick you up?
The sun song, I don't know. Which one did the bird?
Yeah, there was like one of the games where you like played a flute or something and a bird would come and pick you up.
That must be one of the later ones.
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, N64 is as far as I made it with the Zelda games. I've played a couple other ones, just at friend's house, but I grew up on.
Well, I heard the new ones
first two
are like more adventure games, like they're open worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't played any of those.
It's incredible.
Breath of the Wild. I think they're coming out with a new one like right now.
To be a child right now with all the technology, it would be insane.
I think it would be a nightmare.
Like, I didn't even know it.
Dude, we're raising monsters. Like with TikTok and stuff, like these kids, they have even less focus than we do. And we have very limited focus. But like these kids are being raised now, like, and Andrew Huberman's like someone that I listen to a lot. He's neuroscientist at Stanford. And he talks about like TikTok and stuff. And he says, we don't even know what the repercussions are for things like TikTok. Mm-hmm. Like we've never seen this in human history. The amount of, I think he calls it scene switching is what he calls. And it's where you walk from one room to the next, like when you pass through a door.
Yeah.
Like normally you forget whatever you're going to, right? Because you're switching the entire scene.
Yeah.
So when you come to TikTok, you're swiping, you're scene switching every like 10 times a minute.
Right.
Where really in real life you would do it like maybe once every 10 minutes or something.
Right.
So he's like, we don't even have any reference for what's going to happen to people.
Yeah. Wow. That's so interesting.
Just dopamine hit after dopamine hit.
Yeah, absolutely. Just burning it out.
Just making monsters, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah, TikTok is one of those things. It's a tool, or it's certainly a drug no matter how you use it. It is absolutely a drug. Just as our phones are. I mean, that is like the most addictive drug that we have. Everyone does it. It's like the most socially accepted thing. Reach into your pocket, I'm in a social setting and no one's talking to each other. I'm going to pull my phone out. And then you look around, everyone is pulling their phone out. Everyone's, connecting to something else, sometimes having conversations that may be important, mind you, it's not only jargon, but a lot of other people are just, scrolling through TikTok and they haven't even filtered through the stuff that they don't like because they don't even know who they are. Mm-hmm. So they're not actually, disliking this video because it's showing them something they're completely disinterested in. They're just like getting into it, observing it, and being like, wow, this person's doing this and I don't give a fuck, but this is kind of interesting and I'm bored. What is this? Oh, wow, this person's doing this, bored. And what I do, and it's taken me a long time to realize that you can hold the button down, hold the screen down, and it allows you to put up not interested. Because for a while I was getting all these like live, it would go into like TikTok live, and there'd be like some girl like on her bed, like, you know, with her like dude, her top way down, and she's like, you know, somewhere in, you know, like Russia or Ukraine or somewhere in America, whatever, and she's just not even speaking.
Yeah.
And there's like 7,000 people in this live room, just like all being like, take your clothes off. Yeah, they're all jerking off. They're all fucking
community jerk off session. Like, think about it that way.
And
next
this
time
girl's
you're
not
doing
even saying anything. She's just like, a lot of the times I found out through like, you know, like just seeing stuff on Reddit, how many of them are pre-recorded too. And people have shown that like there's like
a bad idea actually.
There's like a loop and it glitches and it loops back to the beginning, and then people in the chats, like I've read an article about this, people are like, wait a second, like what's going on? This is a fucking pre-recording. And they've been sending money. They've been sending these gifts that they buy off TikTok, and they're, you know, $20, $30, $100, $500. Like, you know, if you send them like, I forget what it's called. Like, I don't know. There's like a galaxy is apparently like this big gift, and I think it's like $100. And these people are just getting these things, and
they're not even there.
It's 50-50 split with TikTok. So, you know, if you make $100 on TikTok, you keep 50. But these people are making thousands of dollars, and some of them are just some like person with a computer in India who's a man who like just hacked someone's fucking computer and got their private videos. It's so fucked up,
dude. It's very fucked up. Like I said,
and people are buying into it because like it's like that's what we need, that dopamine.
Okay, well that's crazy at first to me. Like there's that much free porn out there, and you want to go pay someone for it. Like, just go bust one and fucking get back on with your day. You know, don't let that shit control your life. Like that's where I think this whole porn thing comes in, is like people like get addicted to it, man. They let it control their entire lives. Like when you have that like sexual urge, just go fucking knock one out and keep going.
Or I mean, sexual energy is also, you know, you can refocus it as other.
Well, you can, things. Yeah, you can transmute.
It's a very powerful energy.
But dude, no, they're okay.
Not to be wasted.
Think about the average person here. There's no way they're going to be able to figure that one out.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'd like to give y'all some more hope than that. Like, I believe in y'all.
Just fucking pop it out and keep going with your day. Don't let the women bring you down. No offense, women.
Or the man.
Or the same way. Them. You can go the same way.
Yeah,
so we saw a guy a couple weeks ago. This young kid, he's like 16 years old. He's riding his bike down the street. It's like 10 o'clock at night or whatever. We're all sitting outside the bar just chatting. And this kid pulls up and he's like, hey, somebody dropped their purse over there. We're like, oh man, we don't know who it was, but he like had this purse on him. And I looked at his phone. His phone was in his little basket on his bike. Just two people just fucking. And I'm like, bro, you watching porn riding your bike around the street? He's like, yeah.
It's dangerous. Hold on.
Yeah,
that is like way above texting and driving.
Dude, he's like, yeah, I'm watching people fuck. And I was like, what in the shit? I was like, that's porn addiction right there.
Oh man, that's the same kid who was definitely in like the back of the school bus thinking he was all cool watching porn, and everyone was like uncomfortable, but then there was a couple of people who were engaging. Like that shit happened when I was in like
for him, that was so normal that he didn't even turn up before he rolled up to us, you know?
I guess I was a little bit old. I was like in 6th grade, and yeah, people were doing that shit, man, watching porn on the back of the bus, and like, yeah, pull up to you watching porn with him. What the fuck? What are you thinking? What are you doing?
I mean thank you for bringing the purse over here. You know?
I mean, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe his phone just happened to open and swipe to what he was watching while he was at home. Maybe he wasn't driving and wanking.
Oh, no, he owned that shit, bro. He owned it. He's like, yeah, I'm watching people fuck. I was like, dude.
What the hell? What the heck?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Anyway,
when is it going to end? You know,
I don't know that it will. Like, I think it's just going to keep going downhill until we're in Idiocracy. You've seen that movie, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
I think we're
already there, man.
I think we're getting really close. Put it that way. I don't think we're there yet. I think there's still some hope. There's a glimmer of hope left in my eye.
Well, I'm glad. Me too. I will say.
We were having this like deep conversation last night, and I was like, let's save it for the podcast tomorrow. But I can't for the life of me remember what it was.
We were talking about 440 hertz, how like
the music. Yeah.
Like how everything nowadays, the standard tuning of music is 440.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Like, what can you make your own music to where it's not tuned that way, or is that the radio in general?
You can tune any instrument into any tuning you want.
So is that what you guys do?
In the Western world, we all adhere to the, standard tuning of 440, but a lot of other more Eastern ancient cultures, in India and China, they don't always adhere to that. And it sounds so different. You wonder why it's like this, like,
is that much of a difference?
I mean, it's like you wouldn't like know what it was. You would just feel like this music was hitting you different.
Right.
But yeah, we were talking about how 432 is what music actually used to be tuned to.
Mm.
But then sometime in the 50s, the Rockefellers were like the leading people behind changing the standard tuning from 432 to 440. And like the whole world did it basically, like the whole modern world.
Well, they control the world.
And
so yeah.
And so you have to like, it begs the question, like, why would you do that? And then, what is this? We're the
cymatics.
The cymatics. So if you actually, have, one of those cymatic machines that,
so basically it's a machine where they put a metal plate down and they put sand on the metal plate and they pump musical vibrations to it and it makes patterns. Yeah.
Just the frequency itself is just it automatically just turns it into like a work of art. And it's like these beautiful, very, very hauntingly familiar patterns that are just like, it's like the genetic code of like the universe kind of thing. It's like obviously like such a deep natural occurrence. And like, it's just obvious that it's that, it's beautiful. And so that's at 432, it makes one of those beautiful patterns and a bunch of other frequencies as well, but at 440, it's like all blocked. There's no real pattern. It's all like just kind of grungy and crunchy and disturbed and it's not resonant with itself. It doesn't it's not like harmonic to itself.
So you think they did that on purpose?
Well, that's what a lot of people are saying. And I've been finding more out about it. And there's a bunch of musicians over, the past 70 years who have been aware of this and tune their music to 432 to not adhere to that norm. And there's actually playlists you can look on, like on Spotify, for instance, you can go on and type on 432 hertz. And a lot of them, the things that'll come up will be like meditation or, cause they're like, singing bowls or all these different more meditative stuff. So, I mean, that's not what I'm talking about necessarily, but those are all there's a bunch of different healing frequencies that those things use as well. That
Solfeggio frequencies is what they're called.
Yes. I definitely recommend those. It's its own thing, but there's actually playlists with like rock music, 432 rock playlist. And it's all these songs that, we've been listening to. I mean, there's a bunch of Pink Floyd songs. I mean, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Alice in Chains. I mean, the list goes on, like all these like, really popular rock bands. And you never knew, but that some of their best songs were tuned to 432. And
maybe that's why I like the Chili Peppers so much.
They're definitely on it. They're on the
okay.
The real vibe.
So say you tune all your instruments to 432.
That's where it's hard.
Well, if you do this and then you record a song at 432, then when you pump it to the radio or Spotify, is it coming out at 440?
No.
Okay.
So if the actual way you would do that is you could tune your instruments to 432. That's like, one way you could do it, but all of our guitar pedals and all of our tuners are for 440. So you can record in 440. And then once everything's recorded, you can then take the overall master pitch and tune it down to 432.
I don't even know what that means. That's so wild to me. Like, I understand, like,
it's like this much of a difference. It's like if 440 is like, 432 is like,
yeah,
it's like right underneath it, but and that was a bad representation.
But it's just like enough to where you're like, you can tell. I can't tell.
Well, I think it's like your subconscious can tell.
Right.
It's like it's not like a conscious realization, but for whatever reason, that music just naturally resonates in your mind and in your body and your soul more than this 440 does.
I get that. I'm gonna have to like play around with it more. I mess with binaural beats a lot. One more thing before we move on to binaural beats, I want to talk about that with you. But cymatics, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So metal plate, sand, music going through it, right? Beautiful patterns. So I was thinking about this a while back, and I was thinking of it like a concert, right? Like a rock concert. You know, you have mosh pits. And I was like, if you take the concept of cymatics on a metal plate and you scale it out to a rock concert and think of the earth as the metal plate, the human beings as the sand. And if you pump musical vibrations through the metal plate, what do the humans do? They mosh. They move into like patterns.
Yeah. Wow. That is such a high thought.
This is what I do when I'm home alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I don't have any friends. But no, how dope is that? Like, what if that's real?
I mean, I guess it is. I just never thought about it that way. But I mean, people react to their environment. And I mean, that's why, besides the drugs, that's why people go to huge festivals, like all these electronic festivals, especially. The speakers are just vibrating you. And like, I swear it like releases tensions and stuff. It just like, it helps like free up some hard tensions in your body that you didn't even know were there. It just like shakes you free.
Yeah.
Like all those sub frequencies. I mean, they'll change your life.
Yeah, man.
They'll heal you.
Mosh pits or cymatic patterns. Anyway, binaural beats though. Like I've had some really cool experiences with those. That's where they do the same thing with frequencies, but they're pumping one frequency in one ear and one in the other. And because the way they cross in your brain, because like this side of the brain deals with this ear, this side of the brain deals with this ear. So like they're crossing in your brain and it's causing like I'm going to say it's like the subtraction of the two frequencies that you're getting. That's the like what's crossing in the middle. And that gives you like this like really weird high.
Yeah.
Or I guess a different feeling depending on the frequency that's canceling out.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. It's like when you're playing guitar or something and you're playing one note and then the string beneath it, you're playing a note beneath that one, but you bend that string up to the same note and it's like they're really close. Well, I mean, you can bend it up and have it be the exact same note, you know. Or it's like if you're a little bit off, it's like they're right there next to each other, but like they're like creating this like friction, this like really like bubbling feeling, you know, so to speak. Like the pitches are, it's like dissonant still. It hasn't completely like cohered or like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like come together to actually be like resonant on like one pitch. So there's like some like feet, like, oh man, what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't even know you could do that. I don't know what you're talking about. You're like still talking so far away from anything in my wheelhouse right now.
Let's try right now. Just go. Do you feel comfortable in singing any note, even if it's like go sing higher. Do it again.
I don't even know what we're doing.
So when you go back and you listen to that, you're going to hear like, it's like, there's like this oscillation of the pitch. It's like rubbing off itself, you know?
So basically
rubbing off itself. Yeah.
Everyone who just heard that is now high.
If we did it for an hour, yeah, sure.
But wouldn't you have to put one in the left thing and one in the right thing? Right ear, left ear?
That is the actual process.
Yeah. See, all this is mixed together right now. So they just got a beautiful harmony from us, what they did.
Well, a little bit of dissonance too.
Dissonance.
Good job, man.
Thanks, man.
You got a great voice.
Thanks, dude.
I never knew it.
Oh, man. He's just saying it because we're on camera. He knows.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so what else you got in there, man? Anything else cool? What do you got in the works?
Oh, you know, I guess what's really cool to me is spending time alone. And actually, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts recently, funny enough.
They're good when you're just like, you know, doing nothing really. When you're just listening to people chat.
When you're cooking, when you're walking around, like, you know, I'll listen to 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here, an hour there. I'll sit at the coffee shop and just like, you know, look like the weirdo who's like, you know, like my hair is over my head, my little buds. So no one knows that there's headphones in my ears. And I'm just like staring off into space and like, and then I'll just start laughing because like, you know, I'm listening to Duncan Trussell Family Hour and he's a fucking character. And so he cracks me up and I'll just start laughing out loud. And I swear people are like,
they're
stop
like, this guy's crazy.
Like, oh man.
It's New Orleans. Though. I mean, you gotta like everyone's crazy in this city. That's why I love it.
Even if you're not, I mean, it's smart to look crazy because then You
fit
keep
in.
people at bay.
Well, I think you fit in. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me. That's why I love this city. Cause there's no other place that I really fit in. Like this city, I fit in here because no one gives a shit. I feel like when I go back home to Arkansas, where I'm from, people are just like, look at me weird.
I didn't know you were from Arkansas.
Yeah.
Oh man, that makes so much sense.
Really small town in Arkansas. How does that make sense?
I don't know.
Hang on. What does that even mean? I think my mom's the only one listening right now.
It seems like you've climbed the top of a mountain and found a crystal and it changed your life.
In Arkansas, I mean, there are crystals there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were a few times. So in Little Rock, when I used to live there, I would wake up early in the morning when it was still dark and I would climb to the top of Pinnacle Mountain. It's a mountain. And I'd get up there and I would have breakfast by myself.
Wow.
And I did this for like a year and a half.
That's like monk style.
It was beautiful, man. And like, and one of the guys one time, so it's pitch black dark outside, right? You got to walk up this long trail before you get to the mountain. And there was a guy in front of me. And this guy was like looking over his shoulder, right? Because there's like no one else out there. It's me and him. And we're both on this trail. And I'm walking behind. I have my hoodie on because it's kind of chilly outside. Anyway, we start climbing up the mountain. And I blaze past this dude, right? This is old man. I just fucking blaze past him. I'm like, yeah. And I get halfway up the mountain and I start gassing out. This man comes back up, passes me. And I'm like, this son of a bitch. So skip ahead a year. That was like when I first got to Little Rock. Skip ahead a year. I start modeling for Dillard's Clothing Company. That guy was the fucking photographer.
No.
At Dillard's Clothing Company. We were talking about it.
Odds.
And I was like,
did he remember you?
He did. He's like, dude, you were behind me one time and I thought you were going to kill me. And I was like, what a small fucking world.
That is insane. Mm-hmm. Speaking of Dillard's, do you know about, they call it Ghetto Dillard's?
No, what is this?
God, I think it's out in like Metairie or something, but it's a Dillard's, what's it called?
Outlet or something?
Yeah, it's like what everything that they don't sell at the main Dillard's, like it goes to this. I forget the actual word for that is. Outlet's a good, I think that's right. But I mean, the deals in there are incredible.
Yeah, dude, their markup.
I was getting nice sweaters for $15, brand new, styling. I mean, I had to search through stuff. It was a mess in there.
Right.
I mean, but it was before the holidays that I went there for the first time. But I will be a normal customer over there because it was a little sketchy. Yeah. You know, it was like, it looked like there was going to be a mall there and then there wasn't. And it's just Dillard's. Yeah. And parking lot's like 150,000 years old. Yeah. And so, you know, you got to watch your back in that Dillard's. You might get shanked, but you know, you get good deals. They got great deals over there. Check it out.
No, I do. I think that I get all my stuff at Burlington Coat Factory. That's where I go now. I go to Burlington Coat Factory or TJ Maxx and I get all my stuff. Because I realized that the markup at Dillard's is just through the fucking roof. Yeah, it is. And the reason I realized that is because every year they do these massive sales, these clearance sales, where they get rid of like all their inventory and bring in new inventory, and they're marking off jeans for like they normally sell for like $150 for like $15. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how do they? And it's all through the year they're marking up all their shit so high. That's why I love Burlington Coat Factory, dude.
They know they can do it though.
Well, yeah, Burlington Coat Factory, you can get jeans for $20. You can get t-shirts for $5. So I go there and get a complete wardrobe. I do that once or twice a year.
You know, one of my guilty pleasures is going. It's not so much a guilty pleasure. I actually really genuinely love doing it. I love going to Buffalo Exchange. And I go to Salvation Army. I go to, Goodwill. I'll look through all the clothes, but Buffalo Exchange is on.
What is Buffalo Exchange?
It's over here on Magazine. It started as a thrift store and now it's totally not. I mean, you thrift clothes there because they don't bring in their own inventory. It's all stuff, supplied from the community. Mm-hmm. But it's they usually have like a little bit more of like a vintage style to them, or they actually want to get like, only have nice inventory. And then, so it's not cheap. It's not like, Salvation Army, you can get like a pair of pants for like $5, $2 sometimes, like whatever. But some of the clothes in there, I mean, you'll find stuff that are like the one and only pair that you've ever like that you'll never see anyone else wear this one thing. Mm-hmm. And if you're lucky enough, I mean, I'll try on like 10 pairs of pants sometimes if I have like an hour off, and none of them will fit me. Right. And sometimes if I'm really feeling like I want like a little boost, I might buy one and like try and shrink it just because I was really looking forward to like get coming home with something. Mm-hmm. I got long legs and so
no, it's a weird thing when you shape like very tall and slender.
Long and slender.
Yeah, they don't make a lot of clothes for men like us.
I found some really good clothes there. some of which are extremely high quality, and they have been not, cheap, but I think it's worth it. You go in there and I'll try on like 20 things.
What the fuck is going on out there?
Someone's trying to park.
Like we were here one day and there was a big wreck outside. It was entertaining.
Well, I don't like that.
Oh, little tap, boop. That's why they make a bumper. They make a bumper for that reason. That's why they call it a bumper.
Yeah.
Just a little baby tap.
Yeah, you should try on like 20 things at Buffalo Exchange, and I'll leave with like one or two of them.
Dude, I hate trying on clothes so bad.
It is annoying.
That's why I don't even like to go clothes shopping. I'll wear things with holes in it. Like,
oh man, I tried on these pair of pants at Buffalo Exchange like 2 months ago, and I almost had to ask for help getting them off. Like, I was in there, like, a lot of times I'll go with my girlfriend, we'll try stuff on and we'll come out and like model for each other and shit. But I put these pair of pants on, and I should have known, because how hard they were to put on, that they were going to be 10 times harder to take off. And like just on my ankle, like they would not pull over my ankle. And I was like, come on. Like, they're so cool. I'm going to get them on. So I thought they were so cool. I got them on. I ended up not liking them at all once they were on. And it took me fucking 15 minutes to get those pair of pants off. I had to sit on the ground and like pull with all my might. Like I was about to be like, help.
Take your knife out and like, cut them a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So after this, you mind if can you send me like a song or so to put on here too, so people can get a sample of your music? Can we do that?
Sing a song?
No, not sing a song, but like one of your songs that you have like, recorded or something.
Oh yeah.
Can we like throw a song in here so people can hear your music?
Yeah, sure.
Dope. Yeah. Which band will it be from?
Tattered Rabbit. You can do that.
Yeah. And Tattered Rabbit's on Spotify.
You could put on, go on YouTube, and we actually submitted. It's a pretty like, DIY video, but I'm proud of it. It's, if you look up on YouTube, Tattered Rabbit, Luna, Luna, it should come up. It should be one of the first few videos. And if not, type in Tiny Desk 2. It was our Tiny Desk contest submission.
Love it.
And it's good. Yeah. It's, we recorded it with a little Zoom microphone, and I think it turns out great.
Yeah. I'll stick that on here. Where can everyone find your bands at?
Anywhere. I mean, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, wherever.
And do you want to put your social media out here too?
Yeah, sure. Mine is Morgan on the organ, one word. Sexual innuendo implied. But also, because I play the organ, you freaks.
Disgusting people.
Disgusting.
You pervs. You fucking pervs. Well, dude, thank you for coming in today.
It's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me. It's my first time podcasting officially.
I think you did a great job.
It's fun.
I love it, man. This is therapy for me.
We'll talk about that after we get off.
Yo, set me up with the homegirl too.
Oh man,
and I'm gonna call that too. I'm gonna be like, yo, what's up, homegirl?
All you gotta play is like one show a month, and you could get in that for free.
Well, no, I don't want to talk to her. I just want to have on here.
Oh, you want to have? Right, yeah,
I want to have
say that.
Here.
Okay,
yeah.
I understand. Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, you think I need therapy? Dang, bro.
Oh no, this is your therapy.
This is my therapy. I am the therapist.
No, we're gonna talk about that. That's bullshit. Everyone needs therapy.
Love you guys.
All right, love y'all.